I just sat in front of my phone and recorded what I wanted to say to you. I discovered I'd press the camera button, not the video button. Um, it's funny. People talk about things that they want, and in words, the choices they make aren't right. Don't necessarily match up to what what they do. Doesn't necessarily really follow what they say it is that they want. Yeah. Um, so people talk about peace, right? There's a big difference between ignoring violence or trying to justify it, right? Like, oh, it's okay that this person did this because of that. It's like, actually, that's not okay. Yeah, it's just not. Like, the reason it's not okay is not because it's not allowed. It's because, like, if I put someone in a situation, right, where I'm threatening them and they respond violently, that's like a real flow of justice. That's justified, right? Defense or whatever you want to call it. Um, if um, if someone gets angry at a situation where there's no violence in existence, right, and they bring out violent anger, the the simple fucking truth of that is that the violence comes from inside them. Yeah, the anger comes from inside them, comes from a contradiction, comes from something old, comes from whatever it is, right? Um, um, you know, these things are try and talk about like internal life. Yeah, Becky, you have just as much experience of internal life as everybody else. Right? It's you. I want to say things to you. I'm not trying to convince you of stuff by being clever. I'm just talking about what it's like to be alive as a person, right? So if you if you look at this situation, right, happened with Doogie, um, then there were pretty much four possible stories. Yeah. Really, there's one. Somehow, when he asked me to leave, you were asleep. He said before he started shouting, yeah, when you first asked me to go after he touched me up, you can cut. I can't force you to try and believe me or whatever the hell that means. You're free to you choose to believe whatever you like. Um, it's fine, but at least listen to what I'm saying as if the words have some kind of meaning because I'm quite good at this shit. Um, so there's four sort of reasonable stories about what happened, right? The first one is that when he asked me to leave, the way that I felt was that some kind of ownership over you over time with you, maybe horny or some, male sexualized or otherwise relationship based, feeling of, I'm not leaving this girl with this man. Right, that's a feeling. I've had that feeling before. Yeah. It's pretty normal. And that would then, right, so if that's the way that I feel, then when the guy asked me to leave, that would explain why I said no. Yeah. A second reasonable story, right, is that I was exhausted, starving, had nowhere to go, cold, didn't want to go outside, right, didn't want to be forced. Like the animal part of myself was just like, I'm not fucking going outside. I can't deal with it. For some reason, whatever the reason is, I just can't deal with it. So I'm not doing it. Right. So when the guy asks me to leave, I say no. Right. Because that's how I feel. So then that's the behaviour that I exhibit. The third reason out of four is that what I said to you is just simply true. Okay, so the guy woke me up by touching me up. Then when I said no thanks, mate, he asked me to leave, and I said I'm not leaving. I'm not just getting out of the tent because you've decided that because I don't want to have physical intimacy with you, that now I have to leave. I'm not doing that. I'm looking you straight in the face and I'm telling you no. Right, I'm not leaving because of that reason. No fucking way. Now, I mean, anyway. So that's so that's the way that I feel. That actually, I'm not fucking listening to your opinion, mate. You need to actually get a grip. You need to sit down. You need to calm yourself down. You need to communicate with me like an adult human being, not like a sort of drunken. No, that's not fair. Not like a drunken idiot. Not like someone who's just trying to get their own way, right? Because what you're doing is just disgusting, right? Called rape culture. You know what I mean? And so right, so that's the way I feel. So then I just don't, I behave the way I choose behaviour. The fourth reason, and this is interesting, I think, is that somehow I'm just a bit weird, or the situation was just, whatever, everyone was drunk and like, yeah, yada, 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 or, like you said, do you remember you said, maybe, I mean, you said in the tent, see, look, this is what happened last time when I asked you to leave. See, that's really interesting, right? Because that's not, you're talking about a generalization. Yeah, Chris kind of just doesn't leave when you ask him to. The truth is, when you asked me to leave your house about 1:30 in the morning, I just immediately walked out of the house. No anger. I never not. Do you know what I mean? I didn't suggest that you shouldn't ask me to do that. I never thought that you shouldn't. You have the freedom to ask and do whatever you like. And you asked me to leave your house, so I just walked straight out the door. Yeah. But so the fourth reason, yeah, is like somehow this person is weird, and this is what, right? This is what everybody. I've already cried my eyes out saying this once before. It's a bit weird, but this is what everybody. This is what the general consensus is, right? That actually, there's something just a bit weird happened. It's like, all right, that's great, but that doesn't actually, right? That's not a real story of the process of what happens inside individual people, right? Like, you can say it's a bit weird, you can be right saying it's a bit weird, but the actual, moment, the story as it was, the thing that actually happened then is made out of things like the first three things I said, right? Actual, like, interpretations, feelings, decisions, behavior, like that. I'm not trying to be a psychologist. I'm just fucking talking about what it's like to be alive, right? I'm not. Um, and so there's other things I think it's worth you thinking about. For example, the fact that after you left, I've got all the top of my head is bruised. You could try to rip out, he's grabbing my head, trying to drag me around by my head in the tent. I'm just looking at the guy, being like, you need to stop this. What are you doing? Just look him in the face. What are you doing? Why are you physically attacking me? I've got bruises around my neck, all the top of my hair, I've got like scabs here on my head where I've cut my head open through having. I don't know if you can see that. I don't fucking know. From him smashing my head over and over again into rocks. And it's he became more and more and more angry, and it's not because my story, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, mate. His behaviour was rank, man. It was rank. Ugh. You know what I mean? Yuck. You can see that he's not laid back from the way that he speaks and the way he carries himself, where he's constantly smoking joints and like saying things that look cool. It's like, okay, that's great, good. But you don't look calm to me, to be honest, mate. Like, you just don't. You might be many, many great things in the universe. Hooray. But you don't look calm. That to me, what seems likely, especially given, so if you take this, this situation where you leaving gives him the permission to switch from screaming in my face and shouting to physically attacking me. Right, it's right in front of me, yeah, in a tent, right, like, strangling me. And you look people in the eyes when they're doing that sort of thing. You're just like, what are you doing? Like, really, you need to fucking sort your shit out. You recognise I could squash the guy, like, without. Do you know what I mean? I'm not scared of that person. They don't have a clue. Yeah, like, really. And like, physically, close quarters like that in a tent doesn't have a chance. I've never hit anyone in my entire life, ever. Never. Not a single time. Ever. I've been involved in a couple of fights where people on the ground were getting kicked by groups of people, and I've waded in to stop them having their ribs broken by drunken morons. Fights that happen around me just shut down because people can't maintain, in the absence of any violence generally, because people are just drunk. It's very difficult to maintain violence towards somebody when they don't rise to it. Most people don't. Yeah. So if you look at that situation in a tent, I'd say what you got, especially given the guy, right? Look at the fact the guy's behaviour completely changed when you're not there, right? So that to me would indicate that he has some sense of ownership or deserve or horny or something about you. Maybe you're going out with him, I don't fucking know. And that, one way or another, that there was something about you, right? Because otherwise, why, his behavior is such that it's clear that your opinion about what he's doing is relevant, right? Because his behavior completely changed. Again, I can't force you to believe anything or try, but I can tell you that I didn't raise a finger. Yeah, hang on a minute, Monica. I didn't. Yeah,